Analysis. It's how we back up investors. Jet Lending made this video so you can see the process, so you can see how we get your deals done, with precision and alarm. Step 1. Analyzing the deal. When Jet Lending gets a new request from a potential borrower, we look at the whole deal. Is the collateral strong on these projected margins? Does the borrower show strength of paying their interest payments? Can the borrower handle repair draws, or do they need a no-draw loan? Is the exit strategy strong, and is the borrower aware of multiple options? Does the borrower know what the relative risk on the averages is? Relative risk on the averages. Time is of the essence, so we work to get these estimates within 24 hours to our potential borrowers. How we do this is, we look at an area. Today, let's take Houston. We will pull comps on the subdivision full for the past year, then the subdivision section for the past year, a custom polygon of the area that maps out major streets and landmarks, a street history with 1,000 units plus or minus within the last year, and a street full history with 1,000 units plus or minus. That gives us first full data set on our analysis. Next, we'll look deeper. Relative risk on the averages, a deeper review of the comparable. Things to consider that shift value of a property are: pay attention to the square footage that's about 20% plus or minus of the subject property. If the subject property is about 2,500 square feet, your comp range is anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 square feet then. Did the property flood ever? Find out how many times the property has taken water from a flood. This sounds simple, but flood comes from the ground up. If your subject property has flooded one time, estimate about a 5 to 10% reduction in value. 2 times, 10 to 25%. 3 times, 50%. 4 or more times, you really need to consider if you should buy this. This is a good rule of thumb. Again, a full look of all the properties in the area have similar characteristics needs to be reviewed. Try to stay within 10 years, plus or minus, of the year built. This is also a good rule of thumb, and you may need to be more lenient when properties are much older. At that time, you can use properties built before 1989. Is there an add-on square footage currently, or will you be adding square footage? Unless the added square foot is seamless with the exterior and does not look to be added, add-on square footage and garage conversions can have a reduction in their price per square foot in that added space. A good rule of thumb is that if you added 200 square feet and the price per square foot for the rehabbed home in the area is $100 a square foot, the 200 square foot add-on would achieve 50% or $50 per square foot when completed. Again, if the add-on square footage is truly added on and looks seamless with the house, this may not come into play. Garage conversions. First, you have to check if the area has houses with garage conversions. This will help your values. If all the other houses in the area have garages and yours does not, this will not only detract some value, but statistically the days on market will be higher for your subject property due to the surrounding inventory. This would follow that 50% square foot rule previously discussed. Proximity to water and drainage. Properties are subject to decreased value if they efface or are adjacent to creeks, rivers, or drainage. This is especially important in flood zones and in properties that have flooded in the past. This will be evaluated per property. Please document any proximity to creeks, rivers, or drainage and ditches. Properties are subject to increased value on rivers, lakes, and oceans and are also evaluated per property. We make note of these proximities as well to see if the property is subject to increased or decreased value with its proximity to water and drainage sites. Oddities and landmarks. We make note of any oddities or landmarks near the property. Power lines, commercial properties, railroad tracks, and or even odd placement of the house on the lot. Make note of irregular layouts. Obvious changes in the structure in the property, example, sudden drop ceilings. Anything that is out of the ordinary that may affect value and or days on market. These issues may affect value or loan to value. Repairs. What your plans are help us estimate your deal. When analyzing investment real estate, look at the comparable properties before and after rehab. Make sure the finishes on the post-rehab properties are going to line up with the market. Price per square foot analysis does not usually include roof, foundation, HVAC, or well and septic issues. Any of these 4 rehab budgets must include a bid from a licensed professional the borrower is using for the rehab. How we consider analysis with property types. If you're buying a condo, condos must be compared with the same complex. Do not use comps outside the complex in which it resides. For your sake, always consider association dues when buying condos. Townhomes. Townhomes should be compared within the same complex if the subject property resides within a townhome complex. If it does not, use a reasonable area with the same major streets, landmarks, year built, and finishes to estimate your data. For your sake, if there is association dues within a townhome complex, please make sure you document them. Rural properties. Rural properties may have a wide comparable distance range. Using a half mile, 1 mile, 2 mile, and so on mile radius may be needed. Land size comparable is very important in this market. Also make sure to add proximity to major roads and other geographical landmarks like lakes and rivers. Double wide and manufactured. Double wide and manufactured homes must be tied to the property and recorded with a tax assessor's office that the double wide is real property and taxed as such. Wheels and axles are removed, and the subject property is tied to the utilities. Manufactured homes and double wides can only be compared to other manufactured homes and double wides. A price per square foot analysis cannot be made with the surrounding properties if the surrounding properties are foundation and framed properties. Historically, the properties are worth significantly less than traditional built homes. You have to consider that your buyer may have an issue getting financed for a property like this, so always check your exit strategies in your area. 2 to 4 units. When dealing with duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes, we make sure that the property type on MLS page is selected. However, agents will list these properties in many different ways, so we may have to do an additional polygon multifamily comparable to achieve all the data we need when comping these properties for you. As sales comparison is useful, an income approach may provide a better idea of the value with rent comps. Now we have evaluated all the static and dynamic data that was presented in the subject properties in MLS. Next, we look at your data. It is important for us to receive pictures of the property. We understand you may not have them at the moment you need our analysis, and that's okay. But still go to the property and get a full set of pictures. Well, what is a full set of pictures? Well, start off by taking a picture of the address for yourself. When you start looking at 5, 6, 7 properties or more in an area, they will all start looking the same. So when you scroll through your camera and you see a new address, you know it's a new house. 2. Take pictures of all 4 sides of the house. Try to get the roof in all the pictures. 3. Take 2 pictures of each room of the house from the corners of the room to give the room depth. 4. Take pictures of all the appliances and major mechanicals of the house. For example, HVAC, water heaters, well and septic, and any other appliances in the house. 5. Take pictures of any suspected damage with some relationship to the room. 6. Take a picture of under the roof. Pull the attic steps down and take a picture. You're looking for what's called cedar shake. If it's there, you have to remove it to ensure your roof. 7. Take pictures of the yard from the corners. 8. Take a few pictures of any other structures or amenities like sheds, workshops, or pools. 9. Drive the area and take pictures of comparables in the area. Not only will you have a full idea of your property, we can now help you with your comparables, layouts, repairs, and what's projected on average in your subject area. If you're a wholesaler of houses, taking picks like these severely decrease your days on market, and since your borrower can move quickly with all the data. When picking a comparable, we will try to pick houses that have similar look, beds, bath, garages, lot square footage as yours. Remember, we are doing this to present a prospective average and a loan estimate prior to you spending any money ordering appraisal. It does not mean that we're right or wrong. It's what we want you to be aware of. If you have a 220 house that's 890 square feet, we do not want to pick a 1380 square foot house that's a 322 brick. Try to be as similar to the end finishes as possible. As square footage goes up, price per square foot goes down. There is a reasonable average of the value of a property in a given area. If your property is the largest in the area, beware price per square foot may not accommodate its true retail value. A good rule of thumb is that 20% increase in value from the average. If all the homes are 2,800 square foot selling at $250,000, good rule of thumb is your 3,800 square foot house may be only worth $300,000 and not $339,000 off the average per square foot. Finally, the biggest detractor from residential real estate values is that your subject property is on a busy street. To comp a house on or facing a busy street or highway, it is only to comp that street within a reasonable area. 20 to 25% reduction to the average of houses, just 3 to 4 houses in the subdivision from the busy street is common in appraisal estimates. Even if your appraiser only mentions obsolescence but does not deduct for it, a busy street will decrease subject property value in residential real estate and statistically increase days on market and holding time. If you are needing quick numbers in a subdivision and do not have multiple repaired properties on the busy street, take the average and reduce by 20 to 25% for your quick numbers. Now we have everything we need to make your loan estimate. Remember, this loan estimate is a snapshot into the future. It is what may be possible with the information we have today on appraised value. We do this so you do not spend a dollar on things like appraisal before knowing what you're getting into. This loan estimate is based off the averages of MLS data and all the loans we've done in the past. Your rate and terms will never change, so if you need to structure something different, let your loan officer know now so we can tailor your estimate for your needs. If you're seeing something different in the averages from our evaluation and yours, let's discuss it so we can make sure we make this the easiest property buying experience possible. We strive for your success and want you to have all the knowledge we can provide you to make sure that the property you purchase for your investments is what you're expecting. So get with your loan officer and let's get tailoring what you need to be successful tomorrow, today. Always let us know if there's a topic you want us to cover, and thanks for watching Jet University.